Hey guys, welcome to SLT Learning, and this is Ankit Prajapati. So I think as of these questions, we have covered lots of questions related with API testing with proper description and syntax, and these are the questions that we prepared in these videos. Okay, those are the questions that has been given by our candidate who has been trained by us and who are appearing for the real interviews, and those are the feedback we take from them, and we create this playlist, okay, for different modules like test ng, selenium and all those things. So if you are preparing for automation interview, okay, I will suggest just go through this playlist and you will find all the most frequently asked questions by the big companies, like you will just TCS, Wipro, Accenture and all those companies mostly ask this kind of questions, and those questions we come up and we always try to maintain the single slide answer. So you will see the description, you will see the syntax as well, which may be asked in interviews. So take a screenshot of those particular things and keep with you if you are preparing. So if you are traveling somewhere, you can just see and just refer those things quickly for you in offline as well. Okay, so today we're gonna cover like how do you pass data between chain API request. So this is same way you can just say how the API chaining work. Okay, if they will ask you how the API chaining work, you can answer the same question as well. So how do you pass the data between the APIs request? So these kind of things mainly ask, okay, how do you pass? So when your API is, the one API response is dependent on another API, at the time you will use this kind of concept. Okay, so as an experienced person, you will easily know, okay, when you should use these things. So key things will be you use at the time of the token creation. Okay, before performing any testing, you have to generate the token. If you are using the proper authentication method, you generate the token, and based on that token, what you will do, you pass that token in next request, whatever post get request, and you perform your API testing accordingly. Okay, so that is a lump sum, the best example and most of the frequently example that you can answer like that. So passing the data between the chained API means taking the some value from the response of the previous API call and using that response and that values as an input of another the subsequent API, that is called API chaining. Okay, so taking the value from the response of the previous API and passing that value to the subsequent APIs as an input, so it will can perform the API I will just call, that is called the API passing the data between the chained API. Okay, so let's we understand the common use case of this particular things. So passing the authentication tokens from login API to the data APIs that I told you, right? First generate the token and then use that token throughout your other APIs call. Then using the ID created in one API, suppose if you are creating the post call, create user. So once the create user will be done, it will show in a response that user ID and the message the user has been successfully created, or product ID like product creation, anything you creating in your system in a post call, you will see the unique ID, the response ID, or the way you have put the implementation. So that ID you can use on performing the CRUD operation. Then you can fetch that ID, then you can perform the update operation and validate the update, then you can put the put, then you can use the get call, and at the last you can perform the delete operation to see the CRUD scenario is working fine or not for that API. So most of the time when you create something, you take that API and use that you take the ID and use that ID in your all other calls. Okay, then chaining multiple dependent workflow means create, update and delete, that I told you. Okay, CRUD operation. So these are the common use case of using the data from the previous API to the next API. Okay, now the general steps, what exactly it means. So first send first request and store the required value from its response, like a token, like a user ID. So whatever the response you get from your API, store that response to some variable, some environment variable, some global variable or some custom variable. Okay, so save that value in a variable. You see, save the values in a variables. It could be the environment variable, it could be the global or local variable. So store that value in a variable and that use that variable in a next API in a request URL, header or a body. you can use at any place. You can either use in a request URL, you can use as a path parameter, you can use as a header as well, or you can use in a response body, in a request body as well, not a response but in a request body. So we are getting the value from the response body and we are passing in a request body. So this is the API chaining in lump sum. Okay, so the send first request and store the values from the response in a variable, then save in a variable, then use that variable in the next API. This is the general steps. If you remember these 3 steps, it will be very easy for you to answer this kind of question. Okay, then this is the syntax. This is the understanding of practical things like example of different tools. So in a Postman, what you can do, let JSON data pm.response.json. so this is will store your JSON data over here. Then pm.environment.set, so this is we are setting the environment variables, environment variable value, authorization token, this that means JSON.token, whatever the value you will get, you're gonna store under authorization token. Then user ID, JSON.id, whatever the ID you will get from this JSON data, JSON.id, it will save in this particular variable name user ID. Okay, and then use this variable in next API request. In header you can just use authorization comma variable, and then you can pass this authentication token, and then in body or in parameter you can use user ID like this 2 curly bracket, and it will pass the values over here. Okay, so this is how in a Postman you can extract the data from the API, and this is how you can use the data in API by storing in an environment variable. So this syntax you should remember, guys. Okay, this will be helpful in your interview as well. Then in a rest assured, this is how you can string token, you store the token like this is given content application JSON, whatever is coming, and extract that path.token. so whatever the token is getting from this post called API token login API, store the token and then pass this token in a second call. You see given.header authorization barrier plus you are using the concurrent operation for string, so barrier plus it will amend the token values over here, and then it will help you to do this get API call. Okay, so this is login API which could generate the token, that's why you're storing the token in a string variable, and then you use that variable name over here to perform the another API call which is the get API call. Okay, so this is how you can use this in a rest assured, guys, and this is the example in a Postman. So common scenario, common use case you know, the general steps you know, syntax in a Postman you know, and syntax in a rest assured you know. This is more than enough to answer in API testing question. Okay, guys, and advanced pattern would be dynamic chaining in loop. You can maybe in some of the advanced scenarios, right, you will have multiple user ID created when you want to create a 10 product at a time. Okay, so for 10 product or 10 users you will have 10 different IDs, so each and every time you need to run the for loop because you need to perform the CRUD operation and all those things. Okay, then data driven chaining means read the input from external files as well. You can try to read the file from the CSV or Excel and try to put that value in particular information. Then multi-step chaining, create, verify, update and delete, that means just stop CRUD operation. And error handling, stop chain if the earlier API failed, means let's suppose your first API is failing and it is not showing the response but exactly the you required in a request body. At that time what will happen, so if the value of the previous API the response, so over here you need to go with the response code. First understand if the response code of the previous API is 200, then perform the, this is kind of depends on method. Okay, you are depending on 2 APIs, so those kind of implementation you can put, but these are the advanced concept. Okay, but in API chaining if you answer like this kind of things, it is more than enough for you guys. Okay, so keep learning this from our playlist, try to crack the interviews and get your dream job. If your colleagues or if your friends is preparing for the automation interviews, then API would be one of the crucial topics to learn. So ask them, just go through this playlist, it will have the most frequently asked questions by the big tech companies, and it's more than like you will see the 90% of question from this playlist definitely, and with the syntax we provide with the syntax as well. Okay, guys, so please subscribe to our channel if you like these videos and share with your colleagues, guys. Thank you very much for watching.